Bright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So today's tutorial I will be showing you how to go about this yoke bustier. Okay, so the yoke bustier, I've already made my basic bodice pattern. So like I always emphasize, the basic bodice pattern is the root or the foundation for every drafting of any dress. So right now I have my chest line, and this is the bust point, this is my under bust point, and this is waist or front length. Okay, so now I have these lines, and I have my waist dart, and I have my bust dart. So the first thing I'm going to do now, as usual, you need to divide your shoulder seam line by 2 and find the midpoint. So once you have gotten the midpoint, directly you connect it to the bust point. So you can see it right there. So the next thing is to make our bust radius. So from the bust point, the difference between bust point and under bust is called the bust radius. So this bust radius, I'm going to take it all around right now. So this is the point at which the bust is going to sit. So it's going to serve as a guide for you, both when you are padding your dress and also when you are creating your neckline, so to be sure you don't go into the bust to expose your bust. So right now I'm going to create this neckline. I'm creating this neckline on the natural neckline. I'm working with a yoke on the upper bodice. So my natural neckline is gotten using the bust circumference. My bust circumference is 40 divided by 12. I have 3.25. So I imputed 3.25 here and 3.25 here, and that is what I'm going to work on right now. So I'm using a mesh for it. So I think by the time I am done cutting the mesh, it's not going to choke the neckline. So I leave it at that point. So the next thing I want to do now, I'm going to come in from the center front of the neckline, and I'll come in by 1/2 inch. So at that 1/2 inch, I'm going to place my pattern ruler in this direction, pointing towards the armhole, as you can see right there. So I just want to make that little curve, so I can just do this. Okay, let me do this. I'll be using my straight ruler first from this point into that line. So but if you look at the thumbnail, you notice we have a little curve. So that curve, I'm going to use any curve to do that. So you can see that I've curved it in. So what I have right here is going to be the yoke, and this yoke I'm cutting 2 times of it, for right and for left. So I'm going to create my over bust, that right here. So if you look at that dress, you can see is, I'll call it a sort of corset, because we have a boning line sewn on them. So I'm going to show you how to achieve that. So right now on the over bust boning line, I'll just go in this way. From here I'll come out by 0.75, and from here I'll come out by 0.75 as usual. So I'll just run my yoke this way. So but I want you to note that this neckline right now that we just constructed, this that we constructed right here, the neckline is running into the armhole. So it's still the same thing. So whenever your neckline is running into the armhole, you have no need to replace your dart. Your yoke remains the same and your pattern remains the same. Okay, so there won't be any need to replace any dart at this point. So I create the over bust, and I go ahead to contour my under bust. So for my under bust construction, in case this is your first time joining our class, this is my center front line, and I've already taken my under bust measurement very firmly. So divide by 4 will give me 8.75 for me. Then what I have left, I'm going to impute 0.25 here. okay, 0.25, and the rest of what I have, I'll input it in this point. So I'm going to flip my pattern ruler right now this way. I'll go this way and then I'll go that way. So I'll just come back and connect here. So, but like I said, what we have there is like I'll call it a Victorian corset pattern. So since it's a Victorian corset pattern, I won't be using this particular method to contour that part. So I'm just going to do this for my underbust contouring. Since it's a Victorian corset pattern, I'll just go this way, take my underbust measurement divided by 4, and what I have left, I'm going to share them equally. So for me, from here, from this that leg, I have 0.75 on this part for me, and from here 0.75. I shared what I have here equally. Please take note. So that means I'm going to reconstruct what I did before. So since I'm making a corset, not a bustier, so I share it equally, as you can see. So I go this way. Then from that new line, I'll connect to that line, and I'll connect back to the back line. So that is it right now. So I'm going to cut out this pattern, and we'll be having our boning line sewn right on the fabric. Okay, I don't want to start piecing for a corset, cutting the lines. Okay, but I'm going to show you how you are going to effectively achieve those lines on your dress. So I'll go in to cut my pattern right now. This is my bust accommodation and my bust part. This is my shoulder seam line. I go into my neckline. I go into the center front line, my waistline, I go into the corset line, okay, into the over bust, go this way into the, can you see that? So like I said, the yoke, you don't need any replacement because it is running right into here. So I just make that curve. Please ensure you have that curve done. So you can see the curve as it is right there. So I'll take off what I have here on the dart, and I'm going to close up my bust dart. So to close up the bust dart, I'll go in here for my bust dart, as you can see. So I'll just apply my adhesive for the closing of my bust dart. So this is my bust dart now closed. All right, and that is what we need. So the next I will do is to make sure I match this up. Can you see? So definitely because of the shoulder line, there will be a shortage when you match it up. Can you see that? So on the chest line, we have a whole lot of shortage. So to correct this shortage, I'll just go ahead and add another pepper to correct this shortage. So it's actually very normal when you have your neckline curving or slanting. So if you have those kind of things when drafting, so definitely you will have to adjust it appropriately. So this is it. So if you notice, I'm matching chest line to chest line. So I keep it this way, chest line to chest line from that point. So I just stick that to that, and then I'll go in again from this point right now. I don't want to go into the beginning of that. So I'll just, let me use my pattern ruler. Okay, it's all the same. I can even use my free hand. Okay, all I want to do is to ensure I have this blend into this line. So I filled in that point. Just cut that point, and I'll cut. Okay, so we can take off this. So I've actually filled in that point, and that is what I'm going to use to cut. So by the time I match, you can see everything is matching up accordingly. So like I said, you are going to create your boning lines for this. So this one will be sewn right here after everything. So the boning lines now, once you are done sewing this together, there will be a boning line as you sew your corset there. Later, this part is going to be unfold, and once you spread it apart, you have your first boning line here. You have your second boning line on this bust line. You can decide to have your third boning line. Okay, anyhow you want to slant it, it's all your choice. Just place your Regline boning on your already sewn dress, and you have the next boning line. So here we'll be having 1, 2, 3 boning lines, and we have 1, 2, 3 panels. So that is how it's going to be, and at the end of the day you'll be sewing 2 times of your yoke, the other way and the other way, in this manner. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial, and see you in the next class. Bye.